here to give you three possible picks for your Week 11 NFL Survivor pool. As always, I will be touching on my lock of the week, I will be touching on my value pick of the week, and I will be touching on my high risk, high reward pick of the week. That being said, let's just get right into it. Let's get through these quickly and get right into it. As always, we'll start with our high risk, high reward pick of the week. For those who don't know, that high risk, high reward pick is a bad team that has a good matchup. They're a team that you look at and you say, hey, I don't know that I'm ever going to take this team until this matchup right now. So that's what I'm giving to you with the Miami Dolphins against the Washington Commanders in Madrid, Spain. This is a game, to state it bluntly, is between two not very good teams. um, I think we're kind of at the point now where we have to start questioning if Mike McDaniel is coached to save his job right. Miami's coming off of a big division win over the Buffalo Bills and one of the bigger upsets in the NFL this season. And they seem to kind of find their stride a little bit as they won two of the last three against Buffalo and a win against the Atlanta Falcons. And this is certainly an opportunity to get another win against the Washington Commanders. Miami is kind of being led by Devon Achane, right? He's kind of been the driving force of that offense, and he's coming off of one of his best games as a pro last week. That can definitely carry into this game, as Washington has not been very good against the run this year. Really getting that run game going with Devon Achane is the key to success in this one, as any inch of space, and he can take any ball for a touchdown on any given play. That's really the key to this victory, as once that run game gets going, we've seen, Jalen Waddle kind of step up in this pass game and these pass catchers. Well, there's not a lot of household names. Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle, and the boys have really been able to move the ball. But again, that comes on the back of a Devon Achane, who is really that difference maker, really that game changer, and really someone who's Washington is going to struggle to stop, as they've done, struggling to stop opposing runners all season long. As to the Dolphins' defensive point of view, there's nothing that really scares you on this Washington Commanders offense. With Jaden Daniels hurt, Marcus Mariota is going to start under center. And while I like Marcus Mariota, I think in order for this Washington to really succeed, you kind of need the quarterback to put the team on his back, and I don't think Mariota has that capability. This run game is just basically non-existent. Bill Krosky-Mara is kind of turned into what I and some of the other guys at FlurrySports had thought it would be. When you play against actual competition and not preseason backups, it's very tough to run the ball. And like I said, Washington's run game is virtually non-existent at this point in the season. I think Washington struggles to run the ball. I think if they struggle to run the ball in this game, it's going to be a real, kick in the nuts for them. Zach Ertz is their number one pass catcher, and at 35 years old, that's not very exciting for Washington. And as Miami seeing that, you have to stop a 35-year-old. There's a lot more difficult things in the NFL to do that. And especially with this game being in Spain, I think these game plans get simplified. And for Miami, that certainly works in their favor, because it just get the ball to Devon Achane on zone run plays, get hats on hats, and just let him run wild with the ball. Something that he is very good at doing, and something that will help the Miami Dolphins beat the Washington Commanders for your high risk, high reward pick of the week. Next, as always, is the value pick of the week. Value pick, of course, is a mid-level team that has a really good matchup. Kind of that step up with a high risk, high reward team. And for that, this week, I'm going all the way to Monday Night Football, and I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys to beat the Las Vegas Raiders. Dallas is well rested, coming off of a bye. And the first thing that kind of sticks out to you about that Dallas offense is those two outside receivers in CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. I think they're both incredible football players. I think they both have played good football this year. And I think what's really enticing about this matchup is one of them is going to get the Eric Stokes matchup. Well, I guess Eric Stokes has played better than he has with Green Bay in his career. Still not a very good corner. And when it comes down to it, you have to have two guys on both both of these outside receivers, which is just not feasible in today's NFL. One of these guys is going to be running one on one for a majority of the game. My guess would be you stop CeeDee Lamb, so George Pickens is probably in for a bigger game this week. And I think Dak Prescott can really take advantage of that. The Raiders also haven't been good against the run. Right, the only thing that really scares you on the defense, and I guess the run and the pass game in that front seven is Max Crosby. But if in the run game, just I mean, it's as easy just running away from him. Um, I mean, that's kind of been the revelation for the Cowboys this year is Javonte Williams, but this offensive line has kind of been made to run block. It's kind of made to take that step forward and to really get under the opposing front seven's pads and just kind of push forward. And Javonte Williams has kind of reaped the benefits of that. I think that this is a game where that can continue as again, there's nothing really in that front seven for the Raiders that scares anyone other than Max Crosby. So I don't see a problem of Dallas trying to run the ball. And then from Dallas's point of view, I've been trying to be a believer in this Raiders offense. I like Geno Smith, I like Chip Kelly, I like Pete Carroll, but there's just something not clicking. It's as easy as for Dallas as just keeping, those big plays in front of you, keeping the Ashton Genties, keeping the Brock Bowers in front of you. Right, Bowers is a game changer, but I mean, with Dallas's additions in at the trade deadline, and Logan Wilson and Quinn Williams, they are set up as good as they've been in a while to kind of stop Ashton Genty in that run. So really, it's about sticking with Brock Bowers and just making sure that he's not going to be because really there's nobody else on this Raiders offense that scares you. I think the Cowboys are just a better team. I think they have more weapons. I think they have better players, and that's why I'm taking them for my value pick of the week. As if there's any shot for Dallas to make the playoffs, they really have to dig themselves out of this 5-loss hole that they had through the first 10 weeks of the season. And as always, we are ending with my lock of the week. This is the team I'm picking. This team you're picking. This team that we're picking. To stay alive in our survivor pool. I know what some of you are thinking if you watch my videos that, hey, look, you took the Bills last week. I am eliminated. That was a bad game by the Bills. I hate the Bills. There's no reason they should have lost that game. Josh Allen looked like, he looked like Mitch Trubisky out there. There was no continuity in the Buffalo offense. The defense didn't play well either. That was a bad game by the Bills. But hey, if you're alive in a second chance pool, or you were in maybe 2 survivor pools and you're differing, stick with me. I'm going to continue to give you my picks throughout the week. And with my lock of the week, I'm looking at an AFC North matchup between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. Ever since Baltimore has really kind of fully gotten healthy, they have been one of the better teams in the NFL this season. They've been the Buffalo Ravens that we've come to know and love. And that kind of starts right in that backfield with the all Heisman backfield in Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Cleveland's strength on their team this year has been that run defense, but I don't think they've seen a run offense as that works as well as Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry do it. That can attack you from different angles, that can attack you from different plays and different schemes, and from just different views, different alignments. That's not to mention that Lamar Jackson has really turned into one of the better pocket passers in the NFL. So once that run game gets going, which it inevitably will with these two runners, having players, like a Mark Andrews, like a DeAndre Hopkins, like a Rashad Bateman, like a Zay Flowers, that's a pretty good kind of mix of a core for the receiving group that can take advantage of, this Browns team that I do think, is susceptible to the pass as they cheat up in the run. And we know that Lamar Jackson is good enough to kind of find those open players. And the other story that is really taking a turn in Baltimore is the play of the defense as a recent. Again, similar to just the Ravens as a whole, the defense is finally healthy, which is kind of allowed Kyle Hamilton, their best player, to just kind of play not that rover role, but just give him more of an ability to line up where he needs to be and take plays as he sees fit. So that means he's coming and lining up, a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage, and not having to worry about, that free safety position, coming more the strong safety position, which doesn't really bode well for the Browns, because with Kyle Hamilton being so good in run defense, right, the Browns' only means of moving the ball has been Quinshon Judkins. If Judkins gets shut down, it's really hard for me to believe that Dylan Gabriel is going to come out and beat the Baltimore Ravens with his arm. So Baltimore's game plan has to be to shut Quinton Judkins down, and whether that means you take him completely out of the game or you just hold them out in front of you. I think that's up for interpretation, right? We saw him go 22 for 75 yards against the Jets, and that was kind of the game plan. It's just don't let him make that big play. And I think Baltimore is probably more suited to do that than the New York Jets were last week. So it's really, it'd really be ignorant for me to think that Quinshon Judkins could come out here and win this game. But really, this is just the Ravens are a better team than the Browns. An AFC matchup, Ravens need to continue to win to dig themselves out of that hole that they started in. So it's an easy pick. Give me the Baltimore Ravens over the Cleveland Browns for my lock of the week. As always, I appreciate everyone watching, and we will be back with another video next week. And hopefully you're still alive. If you are still alive and you didn't take the Bills last week, let me know who you took, and let me know who you're going to take this week. As always, have a good night, and let's make some money. Peace.
Fuck yeah!